Welcome to those, if you're watching this on YouTube, welcome, welcome, welcome. If this shows up on YouTube, you'll see it later. But we're reading this live on Twitch right now. Anyway. Alright, balance changes that are coming tomorrow. February 14th, Valentine's Day. The ranked metagame has been fairly healthy this month. And last weekend's ECQ showed off a diverse field. While we're happy with the play patterns of the top decks, we did want to take this opportunity to buff some Shadow, Primal, and Time build-arounds from a variety of fringe strategies. So we're starting off with stat buffs. First we have Alu, Death Dreamer. Was a 2-5 and now will be a 3-6. Okay. Next is Black Hall War Leader. Was a 2-2 and she will now be a 2-3. Governor Sahin was a 3-3 and he will now be a 3-4. And Name Taker was a 6-4 and now a 7-5. That's exciting. It's probably still bad, but that's exciting. Name Taker getting a buff, a stat buff. Alright. Zelia the Vane, now a 4-5. Wait. They put was a 4-5. So Zelia is a 4-4. Zelia is a 4-4. Not a right now. She's not a 4-5. So she got +1 in health now. Point increase in health. Alright, we wanted to increase the survivability of some compelling fan favorites that encourage novel deck building. Each of these cards carries with it a fair bit of investment, and the extra stat points should help increase the frequency that these units get to do their thing. Black Hall War Leader, Governor Sahin, and Name Taker are actually the most interesting for me. Don't get me wrong, I love Zelia. I love Alu. Alu is like one of the bays of Eternal that nobody talks about. Everyone talks about Seraph and Ikaria and these other cards. Nobody talks about Alu or Zelia. Especially Alu. I mean, not so much Zelia, but Alu for me. Alu is bae. I'm glad she's getting another buff. Thicker Alu. How to claim campaign drops? Just sit and hang out, Bachos. Just sit and hang out. There's nothing you can do to actually, like, you make sure that your Eternal account's connected to your Twitch account by using that drops command that Cass just put in chat. But you click that link your Eternal account to your Twitch account, and then there's a button that should say activate Waystone extension, and that'll allow you to collect the drops just by hanging out in the stream. Yep, exactly. All right, next, Radiance and Wisps. Entrancer now silences 4 cost or less units. Was 3 or less. Oh boy. Soulbringer gives the Wisps, it brings back +1/+1. Was +0/+0. Wow. We also wanted to show a little bit of love to Radiance and Wisps, and felt increasing the effectiveness of some of their unique abilities was the best way to highlight what they bring to the table. Okay, so these two units are one of the better units as far as Radiant and Wisp Tribal. These are some of the better. Soulbringer is probably the best unit you can play. Yeah, Soulbringer is like one of, if not the best unit you can play in a Wisp strategy. Wisp Radiant strategy. So this buffing the Wisps is pretty big. Because Radiance and Wisps have definitely been fringe for a while. But everyone acknowledges that Soulbringer is definitely powerful. The problem is the strat that it's trying to do has not been powerful. Like Wisp in itself. A couple tokens decks show up, like Xenon tokens. It's been a Wisp thing, and people try Time Justice Shadow, Karandon. I know I tried to do like a mill thing that it ran Soulbringer, but it ran Spite Feeder was the one drop that mills. It's a wisp. Anyway, I like the Entrancer buff the best. So it's possible Entrancer gets played in like more aggressive time strategies now. I'm thinking something like Elysian Maul or Elysian Tempo. That sounds kind of interesting to me. I know Elysian Maul normally wouldn't run Entrancer at all because they would run Gloaming Wisp because they always want Nightfall, so that way they can win with Maul. But I think a more tempo-oriented strategy that doesn't rely as much on Maul, it might be finally viable. Like, you see a couple of lists running around. Like, people have tried Elysian without going all in on Maul. They just want to stick a couple guys and then use cheap spells to either counter whatever spells your opponents are playing or bounce whatever units they're playing, and just use your 2 to 3 guys that you put on board early on to win the game. Just keep your opponent off the board, off balance. So I don't know. Entrancer might be. I've always liked Entrancer. I'm just willing to try it in that type of strategy now. I was on the fence about it before, but now I definitely want to try it. No one talks about Alu because curses are unplayable. Yeah, it hits Vara and Sandstorm Titan now. That's pretty insane. Vara was the first thing, but hitting Sandstorm Titan's pretty nice too. That's even more reason to try Entrancer in Elysian Tempo now. Because the deck has a lot of stun effects. As Permafrost, as Winter's Grasp. Some lists are running Entangling Vines. So now you get something that silences Titan, and you can stun it now and get past it, instead of being forced to bounce it. So that's cool. Becomes market fodder. Or Vicious Highwayman. Yeah. Highwayman's pretty nice. Hitting Statuary Maiden, that's pretty nice too. What other premium 4-drops are getting played right now? That's pretty much it. I feel like there's less 4-drops getting played right now, but the ones that are getting played, like, it'll be really nice to silence those. Because I think all of them have constant effects, the most popular ones. Like, they don't have to get... I think Titan... None of them really have to attack to get value. Yeah, Vara doesn't, Titan doesn't, Maiden doesn't, Highwayman does. Alright, so last part, cost reduction. Eva, Islands Elite, 4 cost 3/4 was a 5 cost 4/5. Okay. Not sure how I feel about Eva. I thought she was okay at 5, but like a cost reduction's always exciting, right? Like it's just another 4-drop that you can. She comes down earlier. Now Eva gets silenced by Entrancer. Didn't bother to reading the title, just chilling. No, you're fine, straight. You're fine. We got less than 30. We got 30 minutes left before the bronze campaign, the bronze drops end. And then I'll keep streaming though. The stream's not gonna end once the timer's up. So, but I'll be taking a break once the timer hits 0, because I haven't taken a break today at all. Lothrai Hideaway, 3 to activate was 4. That I like, because Lothrai Hideaway costs 2. And now it's, you can go turn 2 Lothrai Hideaway, turn 3 activate it. It always felt kind of weird to wait until turn 4 to activate Lothrai Hideaway. Sleepless Night, 7 cost was 8. That's PogChamp. And Silhawks TWT, thank you for the follow as well. I appreciate it. Star Reader Severin. 1 cost was 2. Okay. I'm down with that. Veteran Mercenary. 4 cost 4/4 was a 5 cost 6/4. Okay. We wanted to bring some increased speed and efficiency to these remaining 5 build-arounds. Both Eva, Islands Elite, and Veteran Mercenary have had their stats slightly reduced to go along with their lower cost. However, a substantial amount of their strength comes from their respective abilities, and we expect both of these changes to generally be buffs. I can understand that. The big draw for playing Eva and Veteran Mercenary is for their text, not their stat line. I mean, Veteran Mercenary is a 5 cost 6/4. That was always decent, but the problem with Veteran Merc was that in mono faction decks, most mono faction decks didn't need to... They had other 5-drops that were better. Or, in the case of mono fire, usually that was an aggro deck, so they didn't want to play a 5 cost unit anyway. Like, they were really low curve. So like Mono Justice didn't really need Veteran Merc. I think the Mono Time didn't need Veteran Merc. Time has World Bear Behemoth and Owlhead. Like, they have a ton of 5-drops they can play. So like the only decks that Veteran Mercenary could see play in were Mono Shadow and Mono Primal. And even then, like, Mono Primal had Eva at 5 cost, which now she's a 4 cost. So maybe Mono Primal has more incentive to play Veteran Merc now. And possibly Mono Shadow, but... You know what? This takes Veteran Mercenary away from the Diesel units. The 5-drop legendaries that came out in Dusk Road. That was actually the big reason not to play Mercenary in any mono deck. That was like mid-ranger control. Because like, oh, I can play this 5 cost 6/4. That's pretty good. Or I could play this 5 cost triple influence unit that's better. You know, it doesn't get me a card right away. You're ready for Nocturnal Observer into Eva? Doesn't bring back Dawnwalker anymore. That's kind of a feels bad. But I mean, again, like, Mono Time was not playing Veteran Mercenary. They just weren't. They had Behemoth, they had Owlhead. Revenge JP is back with Sleepless Nights at 7. I like these changes. I do. How could you not like these changes? I mean, the only reason you wouldn't like these changes is if you wanted something to get buffed more than it did. So, like, Black Hall War Leaders, that's just a nice change. Like, it survives. It survives combat better. It doesn't survive removal better. Like, Torch is still gonna kill the thing. But now at least... Now the answer that your opponent plays is less likely to be just some random unit. It's like, oh, this 2/1 doesn't kill War Leader anymore. I actually have to use a spell to kill War Leader. I think that's the idea behind that. And Alu just keeps getting thicker. Like, she was a 2/4, I believe, at first. Or something like that. No, she cost 6. She used to cost 6. I know that. Then she got dropped to 5 cost. And now she's a 3/6. Which is a welcome change. So, she sticks around more. She's just like a big beefy body that you can't easily get rid of with damage-based removal. Like, you can't do Howling Peak Smuggler into Display of Instinct on the following turn. Or have the Smuggler out and then Display of Instinct just kills Alu. Now you can't do that. You have to do a little better than that. Turned a 4/5 into a 4/5. Hits Dread. And Trancer hits Dread now. Dread Crown decks get worse. Yeah, hits Sakalis. Maybe maybe Eva might make Huru Flyers better. Severin still certified trash. Although Eva's still gonna face competition in Huru, because they have Shelter Wing Rider, which I know Vara exists, but Shelter Wing Rider is still Shelter Wing Rider. Like, if they don't have Vara, then it's a 5/5 flying Aegis. Like, that's pretty tough to beat for 4. And then they also have Svetya. Svetya just locks their hand. Not locks their hand, but prevents them from playing spells and weapons, so it helps protect your board. So maybe as like another 4-drop. Like, if you want more 4-drops, maybe you play Eva. Potentially. And she does fly, so. Severin's still trash. Need the influence cost on his ability lowered to 4 or 3. I kind of agree, Ghostwalker. I like that he's 1 cost now, but it would have been nice to get the ability to be less influence intensive. Because right now it's 5, which is pretty insane. I think they were being careful with Severin. I think they were a little too careful. I think it should have been 4. 3 might have been a bit too much, but I think lowering it to 4 would have been fine. Mono decks are memes anyway. Yeah. Know that card exists. That's about it. Yeah, I think of all of these cards in this list, I think Lethrai Hideaway might make an impact, possibly. People are going to try Sleepless Night. I think, despite the cost reduction, Sleepless Night won't... it won't necessarily... I don't think it's going to make enough waves. I think it'll be a thing, like on ladder. And then people realize that it's still not good enough. Eva potentially could make waves. It probably won't. But yeah, I think Entrancer, Governor Sahin. I think just Entrancer and Governor Sahin, honestly. I think those are the only 2. I think Entrancer makes the most impact out of anything on this list. Because Soulbringer was going to get played in Wisp decks no matter what. Soulbringer was already good in those. So, like, the Soulbringer buff is just gravy. It's like to try to get more people to play Wisps. But Soulbringer was already good in that deck, so. Like, the pump is not what you're going to play it for. You're going to play it to just bring stuff back. Period. Like, these are aimed to get people to try these strategies. Most of them aren't gonna like stick in the meta, but like maybe 1 or 2 things end up sticking. So Splash Entrancers and Huru, protect them Shelter Wings. But yeah, Entrancer hitting Vara is stupid. That is so good. Vara, Maiden, Titan, and Highwayman to a lesser extent. It's so good. Yeah, Sahin's pushing it, but surviving torches is, yeah. Anytime something gets buffed from 3 health to 4 health, that's pretty big. Like, Anaya hasn't seen a lot of play yet, but more people are trying to figure out a deck with her, at least. Because now she doesn't die to torch. You were going to build a Sahin deck, maybe this will convince you, since you can live through some removal now. Yeah. Yeah, mainly torch. It'll still die to other stuff, like... Well, Defiance stuns Sahin. But, like, Display of Instinct still kills it. But hey, Torch. And 3 attack units. You think Sleepless Night was actually already good, but there wasn't a deck for it? I feel like everybody says that, and... I don't know. I never thought it was that good. Like, it's cool. It's a reload, which I feel like once you play it the first time, you actually don't want it to come back on the revenge. Because I think the decks that would play Sleepless Night, they're gonna have cards in hand anyway. Like, I don't think you want to play Sleepless Night in a strategy that, like, dumps its hand. But I don't know, maybe now that 7 costs, maybe you do. That's why Sleepless Night was always weird for me. It's like, oh, it's an 8 cost card draw. Like, I can reload. But usually this type of card would get played in control decks or just decks that can afford to go up to 8 power. So, I don't know. You can make a Xenon list with Severins and Dawnwalkers and try to make it work. Sounds bad. Vault of the Praxis, bring back Severin, bring back Dawnwalker, draw a card, concede. Oh, God. Let's hope they don't buff Imperial Loyalist. That one should definitely not cross this line, I feel. Yeah. I think Imperial Loyalist would still be balanced as a 4-4. I think Loyalist would still be fine as a 4-4. Now, 4-5, you might be pushing it. Because the idea with Imperial Loyalist is you want to play something expensive on it. You don't want to play a cheap spell. Unless, like, Loyalist is your top end and you have a bunch of 1 and 2 drops in your deck. Which, I guess, that's okay. But I think the draw for me with Loyalist is to, like, put a plate on it and get a 5 cost thing. What's up, Nisharium? How's it going? Yeah, he lives through Torch. Rizon can actually block some stuff. Exactly. With Sahin, yeah. Once Channel Tempest got nerfed, people should have been playing Sleepless Night. Maybe? I mean, the only decks running Primal and Shadow were... Most of the control decks that ran Channel weren't running Shadow. I mean, Feln did at one time. But Feln would have been the only deck running Sleepless Night. Or I guess the Felnscar Peak decks, the Fire Primal Shadow, those never ran Channel. That didn't come back until long after Channel got nerfed. Weird Reanimator list, refill your void after a harsh roll. It is too good with the fast speed mirror image. Oh, with Schism? Yeah, actually, Loyalist is very good with Schism. You're right. I'm actually a little surprised too, but I'm glad they're all buffs. And I'm glad they didn't nerf any more cards. Well, I'm not that surprised, but... People were joking like, oh, we're going to get another patch, boys. They're going to do this after every ECQ. That was the joke that was going around. And they did do it after this ECQ, but it's all buffs. So, I like these changes overall. Like, I don't think there's anything on this list that I wish was... Like, maybe Eva should have still been a 4-4, but then she dies to Vanquish. She dodges Vanquish now. That's another cool thing. 3-4 is actually surprisingly good. 3-4 stat line is actually... Like, 3-5 is obviously better. Actually, 3-5. If Eva was a 4-cost 3-5, that would have been so amazing. But Hideaway I'm good with. Sleepless Night's fine. Star Reader Severin, I wish they reduced the cost of its ability. The influence cost. But Severin going down to a 1-drop is okay. It makes it more aggressive now. Maybe some aggressive relic-based aggro deck. I don't know. Aggressive relic-based strategy probably works. Which, that is out there. Nobody's really played it, but it's out there. I think the cards are there for it. I don't know if it's good, but the cards are there for it. Veteran Mercenary, I'm glad it went down to 4 costs. Would have been nice to keep maybe another point of stats, but maybe a 4-5, 4 power 4-5 would have been cool. And Transfer I love. Soulbringer, okay, fine. It was already good. Zelia, appreciated. Zelia was already pretty good. Sahin, appreciated. Wish it was a 3-5, but I'll take 3-4. War Leaders, appreciated. And then Alu is appreciated again. What's up, Shark? I gotta get on that chest overlay. Oh, yeah, I need to, Shark. You're right. I should go on Reddit and see. All right, I think we're done with the balance changes. We're done with the balance changes. I'm excited for Entrancer the most, but I like all these changes. All these changes are cool. Like, I might mess with Severin now. And Name Taker. I want to try Name Taker. It's probably still bad, but I still want to try Name Taker. I think the extra point of armor is huge on this. It feels more like a relic weapon now. Because before, Name Taker kind of felt like a relic and not a relic weapon. Like, I need to just play this and not swing with it. Like, I can swing and get immediate value, but I'll probably lose my Name Taker. I almost always lose it in the process. So this, like, it lets you equip it, swing at something, and then Name Taker lives to possibly fight another day. So yeah, it feels more like a relic weapon. Play Name Taker in Armory? Oh god. I remember saying, like, when Name Taker was first shown, that I was like, oh, this could be like maybe some wind chest strategy that's heavy Argenport and like fires just the splash. That never happened. But it's probably gonna be like Argenport that uses Name Taker. Alright, who knows? Big Swan, how's it going? Yeah, we just got done looking at the balance changes. But yeah, it was a 4-4. Now it's a 4-5. I wonder if we go here. See, it's correct here. It's correct here. I should have read it off of here and not on Reddit. But, oh well. Name Taker with Whetstone can kill a Millie? You are right. That is correct, sir. Make Name Taker a nice 8-5 and just cleanly kill a Millie and every Millie that's in their deck. A Millie who? You think they really want War Leader to be a thing? Yeah, probably. Now revert Steward? That's probably never gonna happen. I think Steward is actually still okay. It's just people miss the old Steward, so they won't play new Steward. You're stoked for Severin, Zelia, and Eva. Yeah, I am too. I like those changes. I just like Entrancer the most. Like, God, this is gonna be... God. If Entrancer doesn't get played somewhere, it's a crime. I think it's just a crime. It doesn't have to be a Wisp deck. I think it'll work in... You know what? I'm probably playing Elysian tomorrow. I think I'm playing Elysian Tempo / Maul tomorrow. It's happening. I just need to make some changes to the deck to get it more up to date with the meta now. Now that the ECQ's over. Entrancer and Chalice, easy peasy. There you go. Yeah, Entrancer's gonna be annoying. God. I mean, it hit Merchants already. That was already pretty decent. The problem was a lot of these decks that are getting played right now, that's the only thing you can possibly hit. They're not playing like 1 or 2 drops. Unless, you know, you face off against aggro. But mid-range and control decks are... The first thing the earliest unit they can play is a Merchant. Which is great, you silence the Merchant, but that's it. I mean, Entrancer basically read silence a Merchant in hand. No one plays Var's Choice, so no one's gonna play Entrancer. That's just how it is. Yeah, Var's Choice is a spell, though. Also, it only gets played in Xenon. There's no other reason to play it anywhere else. Maybe, like, Firetime Shadow? No. Not there either. Yeah, no one plays Xenon. That's why. I think Entrancer goes into a completely different deck than Var's Choice. So I think Entrancer could see... It has the potential to see play. All right, we got 8 minutes left. 9 minutes left on the drops. All right, so that was fun. That was cool. I'm very excited about these changes. I feel happier now. I'm not getting dumpstered on ladder, but I'm just, ladder was getting kind of eh. Thanks so much for watching the video. If you like what you saw, feel free to leave a like below. These highlights are all a part of my Twitch stream where I play Eternal as well as other games live and interact with viewers in real time. If you want to catch one of the streams, there's a link to my Twitch channel in the description box below where you can follow the channel and get notified the next time I go live. I promote a positive and relaxing environment when I stream, so come by and hang out. Last but not least, if you don't want to miss future YouTube videos, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Clicking the bell icon under the video does guarantee that you don't miss future videos as long as you don't mind notifications. Thanks again for taking time out of your day to watch this, and I'll see you all soon. Take care.